दोस्तों नमस्कार जय हिंद। Many of you must have heard about effective intelligence as an oil cube. I also have talked a lot about it in some of my earlier YouTube videos. So what exactly is effective intelligence? अभी तक क्लैरिटी नहीं है। मैं कभी कभी के बच्चों से पूछता हूँ इंटरव्यू में या क्लासेस में कि क्या है इफेक्टिव इंटेलिजेंस, तो जनरली we tend to relate effective intelligence to practical intelligence. Well, that is not what effective intelligence exactly is. Practical intelligence can be a component of it, but that's not exactly what effective intelligence is. Effective intelligence is more or less towards your emotional stability, your ability to cope up. Are you understanding the point, coping up, and why it is important to cope up? Coping up is basically how do you take a situation. It can be a very simple situation. It can be a very tough situation. To correlate with SSB, it can be as simple as getting screened out. It is simple but complex. That's why the word, your ability to cope up with practical situations of varying complexity, it's a complex situation. How do you cope up with it? One way of coping up will be that you move on. You have to anyway move on. So you feel bad, of course. Anybody will feel bad. But then you move on. And instead of crying, instead of fretting, instead of feeling bad about yourself, cursing yourself, you choose the path of doing your best in the next opportunity. So you use this time and this memory and experience to learn, to evaluate what went wrong and how you can work upon it. This is called coping up. But many people might go to shell. They might simply go to shell, they might not talk, they might feel extremely sad, they might cry, they might explode, they might feel very low about themselves, they might start doubting themselves, they might feel pathetic about themselves. That's not coping up. You're not able to, then your effective intelligence is not high. So do not link effective intelligence to practical intelligence alone. I don't understand what is practical intelligence. The word. What is practical intelligence? I've never understood this word. So people use it, so I keep thinking, what is practical intelligence? Effective intelligence is emotional stability, coping up. When I do the psychometric test of my students before interview, I try to read this. And generally, in my observation, trust me on that, 7 out of 10 students whose effective intelligence, which I have found good in psychometric assessment, I've generally found it good in the interview, and I've generally found these candidates getting recommended. So I'm telling you that psychometric test which I share, which is trait based and which is readily available online also, so nothing great. But analysis of my psychometry is towards OLQs. Well, that's what matters. Then I can very well correlate what exactly is wrong with this person. What exactly must be his temperament, what is bothering him, what is holding him back, what is the reason that he is not able to outshine or grow or whatever. So I have understood this point very clearly. Those who are having high effective intelligence, 7 out of 10, maybe 1 or 2 notch up and down, but usually these are the people who eventually get recommended. So can I say that if someone is low in effective intelligence may not make it? Yes. Because you have to be emotionally stable in a game like this or any game of life. Anybody who is doing well in any sphere of life can be a good sports person, but if he's not emotionally stable, if he cannot handle stress, if he cannot handle anxiety, vulnerability, if he cannot perform under the pressurized situations, he cannot be a good leader or XYZ or whatever you might say. A good leadership trait starts from being emotionally stable. How good is your emotional stability? You should check that sometimes. How do you respond to a situation? Frankly speaking, what is SRT is also kind of similar test. How do you react to a situation? Are you an impulsive person? I have a very good example of impulsive behaviors. One of the best examples is a lot of emotional murders that happen. They are impulsive. It was not the intent of the person to kill the other person. It was never the intent. He didn't want to, or she didn't want to. There are two kind of these acts which happen, heinous crimes. One is the person is planning for a long time. He's planning. He's working on this as you keep reading or analyzing or knowing about them through newspapers and channels. That is bad. That is of course every such crime is bad, but that is worst. There was an intent. But there are some emotional impulses also that come in way. That person didn't want to, but he got so triggered, or she got so triggered, she could not hold it, and she did that act, or he did that act. So, how will a person react in a situation? How will he handle that situation? These people could not handle that situation, and they did whatever they did. Whether they meant it or not, it doesn't matter. So, I'll just quote you an example of a good effective intelligence. Is this movie called सली? आप लोगों ने पता नहीं वो मूवी देखी है कि नहीं, बट अगर आपने नहीं देखी है तो आप जरूर देखिएगा. सली इज द बेस्ट एग्जाम्पल टू अंडरस्टैंड इफेक्टिव इंटेलिजेंस. सली में क्या होता है? एयरक्राफ्ट टेक ऑफ कर रहा है. एयरक्राफ्ट टेक ऑफ करता है और अबाउट सम हाइट जैसी वो गेन करता है. अ फ्लॉक ऑफ बर्ड्स, फ्लॉक समझते हैं, झुंड, दोनों इंजन में घुस जाता है. हाई हाई एल्टीट्यूड पे समवेयर दोनों इंजन बैठ जाते हैं. अब दोनों इंजन बैठ गए हैं. अब एयरक्राफ्ट इज ग्लाइडिंग. एयरक्राफ्ट कभी भी ऐसे धम से नहीं गिरेगा ना, ऐसे धम से नहीं गिरता है. एयरक्राफ्ट ग्लाइड करता है. आपने ग्लाइडर भी सुने होंगे. ग्लाइडर क्या करते हैं? वो ग्लाइड करते हैं. तो ग्लाइड कर रहा है और तेजी से उसका इट इज लूजिंग इट्स हाइट वेरी रैपिडली एंड इट इज अबाउट टू क्रैश. सली क्या करते हैं? यूजिंग द पावर अवेलेबल एंड हाइड्रोलिक्स, उनको पता है कि बगल में एक नदी है, हडसन नदी. वो टर्न करते हैं जहाज को मिड एयर. टर्न करके उस जहाज को विदाउट इंजन he safely lands it on the surface of water and everyone is saved. जैसे वो लैंड करते हैं, जो वहाँ की सपोर्ट टीम है वो आ जाती है, बोट्स आ जाती हैं, फटाफट उनको लेके जाती हैं और दे आर एबल टू सेव एवरीवन. नाउ फाइंडिंग सॉल्यूशन. पहले तो इमोशनल स्टेबिलिटी. अगर सली इमोशनली अनस्टेबल होते उस समय, अगर वो पैनिक कर जाते, अगर वो रिएक्ट कर जाते, डर जाते और थोड़ा सा भी डिले करते, बहुत बड़ी संभावना थी कि वो नहीं बचा पाते. So that precision and split second decision. अगर आप इमोशनली स्टेबल हैं तो ऑफ कोर्स आप कॉन्फिडेंट भी ज्यादा होंगे. इमोशनली स्टेबल, इमोशनल स्टेबिलिटी इज डायरेक्टली लिंक्ड टू कॉन्फिडेंस. यू कैनॉट बी कॉन्फिडेंट विथ लेस इमोशनल स्टेबिलिटी. ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता है. Since he was emotionally stable, he had the confidence to land, and he did. अगर आप इमोशनली स्टेबल हैं तो मोस्ट लाइकली यू विल बी एबल टू टेक इनिशिएटिव्स to decide things quickly, speed of decision, जो इस केस में आप देख रहे हैं. A military leader cannot take forever to decide. There might be situations when he has to decide immediately. For example, the people who are flying aircrafts, fighter planes, they don't have the liberty of time. Split second decision लेना है. ट्रिगर दबाना है तो दबाना है. अटैक करना है तो करना है. इजेक्ट करना है तो करना है. It has to be an immediate split second decision, and it cannot come to a person with low emotional stability. Are you guys getting my point? I hope so. So, where is your emotional stability? Ask yourself. How good is your own emotional intelligence? Sorry, not emotional intelligence, that is a separate matter. Emotional stability. First thing to prepare is being emotionally stable. Handle stress, vulnerability, anxiety, situations which are not favorable. Holding yourself when you're in the back foot. That's effective intelligence. And this topic is endless. I can talk more about it. I will surely as the time progresses. If you want to connect with me for a personal interview, you can message me on my WhatsApp. And if you want to join my course for SSB preparation, you're most welcome to do that also. My course is not only about understanding SSB, my course is also about understanding yourself as a person, as a human being. So I'm very sure it will help you. Thank you and Jai Hind.